Hello everyone. I'm about to go to work here in about 40 minutes, but I wanted to make this video. I'm going to put it up tonight because I'm mad and I want input and I want to hear people's thoughts. Austin Walker at Giant Bomb. The title of this and like the short description is all I'm going to read because that's all I need. Sources: the upgraded PlayStation 4 is codenamed Neo, contains upgraded CPU, GPU, and RAM. Though the Neo, this is the description, though the Neo will offer greater visual fidelity than the original PS4, Sony is taking measures not to split their user base in two. You're fucking up, Sony. That's all I can say. The PS3 hurt people, and I don't mean like emotionally, but I mean PS2 dominated so much and you got cocky and you put out the PS3 at a stupid price, and it eventually won at the very end of like that console generation, basically a few months or maybe a year before the PS4 came out. Oh, PS3 is now sold 360. Good. It took you the entire cycle of the console. And with PS4, all you've done is been the good guy. Microsoft said, hey, we're going to have always online for everything, and if you're not online, you can't play your games. You won't be able to trade in games whenever you buy games physically. You'll have to put in a code, and you won't be able to let your friends borrow that. Sony and you guys came out and said, we're not going to do that. We're going to let you play games like you've always played them. We're going to keep our online at 50, even though Microsoft says it's 60. You're going to get free games every month. You do all these things that make people like you. It's why you're so far ahead. Yeah, the PS4 is a lot stronger hardware-wise than the Xbox One. It's already ahead of the Xbox One, which is another point I'll get to in a second. But that isn't why it's done so well. It's done so well just because you did everything right this time. The price, the messaging of what you wanted the console to be, that it's about games, when Xbox was saying the Xbox One was going to be a multimedia device that also played games. You've done everything right up until now, because you say you're taking steps to make sure that the user base isn't split. The only way the user base won't be split is if the upgrade is completely negligible. If you don't notice a difference between the two, then there won't be a split. But then there wouldn't be a point in making the Neo or the 4.5 or whatever. Looking at the stats, let me pull this back up. I read the thing and that's all I thought that's all I needed. They actually compare. Now this is just from multiple sources that I think Giant Bomb has. The original PS4, the CPU is an 8-core 1.6 gig processor. The Neo has an 8-core 2.1 gig processor, so it's a little faster. GPU, 18 CUs at 800 megahertz. The new one has double that at 911 megahertz. And then it has faster memory. They both have 8 gig DDR5. One's 176 gigabytes a second. The new one's 218. So it's a little faster, but the graphics are a good amount better. And you say you're not going to split up the user base. That's all it takes to split up the user base. There's no reason for this. You're so far ahead of the Xbox One. If the Xbox One did come out with an Xbox 1.5 or whatever they would call it, at most it would be even with the PS4. If that. Like the reports about that don't have it going up that much because it's still a little bit behind. But they're so far behind right now because of their messaging, not because of their power. So even if they were going to make the Xbox 1.5 more powerful than the PS4, that's not going to propel them past you sales-wise. It's all been the messaging and the trust that you've earned from the consumer. That's the only reason why you're ahead. And making a 4.5 kills that trust. People are not going to trust you anymore. There's a 4.5. When's there just going to be like a 4.7? Like, what's the point? Why did I buy this $400 thing 2.5 years ago? It hasn't been that long. Is it 2.5? Yeah, it's only 2.5 years. And I ignored this. I could have made videos about this before, but every single report before this was sort of like, it's a rumor, we've heard things, but maybe it's just like something they're thinking about. Maybe it'll end up being the PlayStation 5, and they're just, you know, because companies are always working on the next console. Maybe this information just came out early or something. But now that it's clear that like the upgrade is enough that it wouldn't be a full console, like this isn't going to be the PlayStation 5. This is going to be some kind of in-between thing that's going to kill your trust with the consumer. Are people going to buy it? Yeah, people are going to buy it. Not very many people. And then people are going to stop buying the PS4. So then all new consumers are just going to buy the 4.5. And then what's going to happen next? Whenever the PlayStation VR comes out, are you going to say, well, PlayStation VR works fine. It works with the PS4 you already have. But if you want the best VR experience, you have to go over here. You can say that you're not going to try to split up the user base, but you're a business. You're going to try to figure out a way to make those 40 million people, or however many people that already have the PlayStation 4, want to buy the new one. That's not the whole point of consoles is that it lasts 7 or 8 years, sometimes longer than that. Like the PlayStation 2 still had a game come out like a year and a half ago, or a year ago, something like that. I don't understand. Like you're just fucking everything up. I mean, if you want people to go, well, because if Phil Spencer about Xbox One said there won't be a 1.5, like that's something they thought about and then decided against, which is smart because like they have like half the user base the PlayStation 4 does right now. They don't want to split that up because they know it would split it up. So they're not even doing that. So I don't even understand the incentive to do this other than maybe it's an experiment. Maybe it's like, well, let's see how many people would buy this. But if it's going to be better, games are going to look better, then you're putting a bunch of crap on all the developers because now they're going to have to make 2 versions. Even if it's just like a little switch that automatically says, okay, well, this is the 4.5, so we're going to enable better anti-aliasing or something like that. The point is that you're going to segment the user base. There's going to be videos of every game that comes out after the PS 4.5 comes out doing comparison to the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Neo. You're screwing everything up. You're giving everyone that already has one a middle finger. Just saying, hey, we know that you bought this thing for $400, $500. Like, there's bundles and stuff. You bought this at launch, and it's been 3 years, and there's still a lot you could do with this console, but we want you to buy another one instead because that's where all the best games are going to be. That's where VR is going to thrive. So, I mean, you can stick with your PS4 and all the games coming out for the PS4 will still work, but everything's going to look better and it'll run better and faster, and I'm sure it'll have a terabyte hard drive from the get-go too. But no, that's fine. I mean, you've worked the last few years to build trust up, just like the trust everyone had in you with the PS2. And I guess now, instead of waiting for the PS5 to screw everybody over like you did with the PS3, you want to do it now. So, I mean, if that's what you want to do, if you just want to just piss everybody off, I guess that's what you're going to do. I'm going to go to work now and mellow out by watching, like, The Price is Right and stuff, because that's what my job is now.